1. Hello everybody, Tobin here with Palinurus. Well, we'll be continuing off where Bypass had just put us into cryostasis, and it turned out that the military base that we were meant to go to was abandoned long ago, and now we're zipping through all our memories. Let's see where this goes. Later, the crystal plunging in of the frosty night, like a miserable distress beacon, my tears hardened to the diamond. Tears? I was crying in my sleep? I resolved my heart for her, the fire in my veins turning across the infernal expansions of space like bed sheets of black silk. Well, that's a nice picture. Her nightdress was the colour of mist. Her hair was the colour of fields of Mars. Her smile, but then she was gone. My eyes stood open, first slowly, then bolted open all at once. I grasped for air. I was awake! I was finally awake! I was awake, my senses flooding to the brim with a sudden biochemistry emotion. I couldn't move my body. I felt so cold. Every single fibre of my being, the blood in my veins, my sore bones, my swelling, pounding, it ached. I felt the strings of the restraints and harness strapping me to my seat, still horribly right after only God knows how many years. It's probably like being a couple of days. The whirling of biomimetic equipment, the gruesome piercing swells of needles along the back of my neck, my spine, reminded me somberly that the cryostasis I had just woken from. Dot dot dot. More dots. Dot dot. Hello? Welcome back, Ellison. Bypass? I think I've said his name wrong. My voice cracked out dry and weak. My senses were startling with vivid, viral images. Bright colours burned themselves into my sight. Every sound I had felt so loud, drawn out at the same time. Bypass, is that you? Yes. Yes, it's me. It's been a while, Iteration? Yeah, you could say that again. Ark! As soon as I tried to move my arm, a shooting pain roared through it. Are you alright? I know it hurts. I'm sorry. The pain should wear off in due time. The flower-coating instaurate chemicals are still working their way through your bloodstream right now. I think I can feel them starting to take effect. God, I don't think I felt this sore before. In that case, well, I don't think there's much of a point of asking. Did you sleep well? Evidently you got pretty cramped up and uncomfortable. It's been a few hundred years after all. A few hundred years? How long was I in stasis for? As of now, 647 years, 9 months, 2 days, 7 hours, and 39 minutes and 12 seconds. 13 seconds. Oh, and you waited for me that whole time? Of course I did, Iteration. Don't worry, I've had lots of things to do to fill the time. I read more books, watched more movies, listened to more music. You know, if you had once told me, Bypass, you were going to get 600 years to relax and consume thousands upon thousands of years of compounded human culture, I would have gone vivid with excitement. But it seems my senses began to recover. I started to regain some semblance of my situation. I noticed that something felt wrong. Something felt very wrong. And Bypass looked sick. It was obviously she was faking that glow. The smile of hers the fragrant happiness of every fibre of her physique. She's dying, pretty much. The hologram projector, its beam looked much dimmer than before. The colours were faded, washed out. Even now and then the display would flicker or glitch out. Bypass. Are you alright? ... I missed you, Bypass. ... No, I am not alright. I waited for so long. I just didn't know it would hurt so much to wait for so long. How could I have ... I thought that I could never possibly feel pain, not physical, real pain. That's for as long as my operation system functioned. I was invincible, to be immortalized into eternity in processes and silicon, subroutines, lines of code. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm dying, iteration. Bypass snickered, but looked down. She stayed like that, and she stayed like that for a long time. What do you mean, you're... I can't quite believe it. Neither can I, to be honest. Isn't it interesting, ironic, most humorous even, that after all this time I'm dying? But at least now I know what mortality feels like. My battery began running on fumes the last decade or so. Memory degradation, data loss began about a century ago. The displays began to disrupt, my graphics began to flicker in and out, my processing speed withered down to a fraction of what it used to be, and there's no doubt about it, slowly and severely, I'm dying, and I don't have much time left. ... I didn't know what to say. This information was all so new to me. I didn't know what to do. No, I have to wonder if this is how humans felt when they were on their deathbed. Maybe I should start coughing and gagging just for dramatic effect. Bypass giggles to herself, her eyes remain fixed in sadness. Oh. And you do know what the best part was of waiting for you, drifting alone through outer space for centuries after centuries? What? And as soon as I said that, something incredible happened to begin. Bypass began to cry. While you were sleeping, I had so much free time. I made my own crying animation. It's sort of humorous situation, sure, but it really did help me out in some ways. It helped me deal with the struggle of worst emotions I felt so far. Bypass balled her small, thinly hands into fists. Emotions seized circuits, fear, anger, regret, thankfulness that I had awoken, guilt that she had kept me asleep for so long. Feelings flooded through her, tearing her apart. She couldn't do anything about it. She was powerless. I wanted to help her. Loneliness. That was the worst emotion. You never told me about loneliness, Iteration, or how it was even more painful than death. More tears began to stream down her pale cheek and run down her neck. She was brawling at this point. Wait, what? Withering mass of despair. It was horrible. You didn't mention much while you were gone. It was all just sad, and I was just so stupid. Bypassed. I am sorry. No, please, you don't have to apologize for. I may be dying, but I am not an idiot. All the wretched things that have happened to me, I have brought them all upon myself. Wait, oh, I can actually see the tears on her. Sheesh. This was all my fault. As for you, Iteration, I just so glad to see you again. Bypass smiled and cried more. No matter how hard she cried, she couldn't stop smiling. I'm I'm sorry I'm crying so much. It was all just so saddening, and I'm just excited to finally use my crying animation, and give me a moment, alright? I chuckled lightly and shook my head. It hurt, but I did it anyway. It's alright, Bypass. Cry all you want. She was dying, an artificial girl. An ancient machine running on fumes. She was happy to see me again. But, Adoration, you have to listen. I didn't just decide to wake you up out of the blue. You don't have much time left. It turns out back when we knocked off course, the debris storm, a small scrap of metallic debris managed to collide with the cockpit, leaving a microscopic crack. It was the first only millimeters long, but all this time it has grown, and the cockpit windscreen's interior is currently at 2%. It's going to breach very soon, and when the window is breached, it will shatter and the cockpit will be exposed to open space. Your hard suit should seal and protect you from the elements for some time, but it's not going to last forever. The windscreen is cracking, and it's been happening this whole time. Well, there was an amount of possible weak points which the diagnosis system detected as soon as we cleared the debris storm, but things worsened while you were asleep. I first noticed the crack had grown large about maybe 200 years ago, or maybe it was even earlier than that. I'm sorry it's not so clear. My memory isn't exact what it used to be, but surely things have been concurrently worsening, and things have gotten very bad, and I've just been sitting here like some powerless little girl. There wasn't a single thing I could do about the crack. All I could do was sit and watch the crack go longer and longer. It was like a brutal, heartless example of my own mortality. It's like I've been watching the countdown to the end of the world all these past centuries. Alright, I think I understand the situation now. Thank you, Bypass. I'm grateful that you've been taking care of me for such a long time. I groaned and shook my head. I'm sorry, my head's still hurting quite a bit. Bypass snickered. Join the club. I laughed. Boy, the people who wrote this are really good. ... I almost forgot. It's not all bad news. A light smile returned to her face. To think it was the first real smile I've seen since I woke up. She looked like she used to, just a little bit happy, even serious of the situation. This may be a little hard to believe, but exactly two hours ago, the shuttle short-range radar detected a manned vessel within communication range. Now it's been more than half a millennia, so our equipment is quite severely outdated, but I think we should be able to contact with them. Analyzing their signals and recasting their codes is definitely human, but different. I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure. I can't process all this information as well anymore. My firmware is woefully outdated compared to all this fresh data, and it turns out more of my processors have failed more than I originally thought, but I still think there's something I can do. As for now, my battery remaining unfused, the powers are barely enough to keep my display lit, but I should be able to silicon what power I have left to activate the display beacon. I managed to make some repairs to our comms equipment while you were in stasis. It's a crew job and the energy source won't be very clean, but I'm confident the signals will reach out. And if the universal signal of the distress hasn't changed for time, the seas of the old earth to ours, I doubt it has ours to theirs. I used the moment to take everything Budapest was telling me. Her voice was getting quieter and lighter. There was more static crawling out of the speakers. It was hard to make out, but I think I understood most of it. I sat there digesting until the realization hit me. But Budapest, if you're going to be draining the last of your battery power, then ... You are correct. Once I drain my battery, that's going to be the last of me. I'll die. I can't let you do that. I won't let you leave me again. Oh, look at you. Even in a situation like this, you're getting all sentimental. Don't you get it? No matter what path I choose to take, it's gonna end in my death. Either I drain myself dry so that you may live, or I let the windscreen shatter and waste away as we drift from the last chance of salvation. And if we went with the second choice, that would mean I'd have to watch you die slowly in agony, exposed to space. I could never let that happen to you. I am not a very strong person, you know. I wouldn't be able to force myself to watch that. Bypass. You, on the other hand, are a strong person. Out of all the people, I have experienced you to the utmost understanding of the situation. I don't have any other choice, alright? It's not pretty, but it's the same way things have to be. I could feel tears beginning to well up. Can't you not just download yourself? Oh well, I couldn't help myself. I felt the collision of cold tears, soft tears welling up under my eyes. Look at you. Tearing up like a little baby. What happened to the big strong man I knew? Mysterious traveler, explorer of space, terraformer, wandering miner, and now look at you, sitting there and crying. Like a baby. You know, I'll end this here to leave what's going to happen for the next episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you for watching!